Hi everyone, welcome to Module 16. This is the last module where you have any assignments due, so congratulations on that. Next module, Module 17, there will be some reading and watching to do, but there will not be a lecture. It's going to be all around advocacy and helping parents and caregivers become leaders and advocates. But for this lecture, we're going to be talking about strategies for engaging and supporting families. And I know we talked about this a little bit earlier in the semester when we talked about school-family partnerships. We're going to look at it from more from an early childhood, early intervention perspective this week. So just shifting it a little bit, but there are some of the same themes happening. Specifically, we're going to focus on building relationships. We're going to look at the role of home visits and also communication, really narrowing in on maybe having difficult conversations as well. Let's take a look at our student learning outcomes for the week. We're going to be evaluating our own experience on and how that might impact our relationships with children, families, and the community. We're going to describe the legal requirements and ethical responsibilities of professionals working with all children and families. We're also going to be able to compare and contrast educational systems and practices, including strategies for family engagement and building partnerships between early learning settings. That's kind of the first piece we're working on for that student learning outcome. Now, our learning intentions for the week include understanding the importance of ethics and knowing the components and how to use the NAEYC, the National Association for Education of Young Children Code of Ethics. We're going to know the steps and actions that create positive relationships with families. We're also going to understand the process and importance of shared goals. We're going to comprehend how to complete a home visit and the rationale for completing a home visit. We're going to know the importance of communicating with families and the role of objectivity and strength-based observations. We're also going to understand elements necessary to have a difficult conversation, which if you're going to plan on working with families and children, you most definitely will have difficult conversations. Now, if you learn all of these things, you're going to be able to do all of these things. You'll be able to explain the code of ethics and provide examples of how you would apply them to your work with children and families. You're going to be able to generate necessary steps to create positive and trusting relationships with families. You're going to be able to describe the necessary steps to establishing shared goals. You're going to be able to explain the components and value of a home visit. You'll be able to identify positive elements of a parent-teacher conference, including strength-based objective observations, and explain the rationale for each element's implementation. You're going to be able to describe the components of having a successful, difficult conversation. All right, with that, these are the things we're going to get done this week. You always have your question of the week. Make sure you do that. You can either vote or you can actually post something that's your own specific thought, as always. You have two things to read this week. You have Child, Family, and Community, Chapter 9. You also have the National Association for Education of Young Children Code of Ethics. Now, this is a larger document. The required reading within it is pages 5 to 8. If you would like to read the whole thing, that is fabulous, but you are only required to read pages 5 through 8. You're going to have your lecture to watch. Then you have two short videos around home visits. One is about visiting tips. The other is about how you gather information when you're in the home. There's also another video on toddler assessment conversation. It takes a look kind of at how we work with families, but also how we start getting at understanding what the needs are and maybe some of those difficult pieces around when we have to talk with parents about delays. We're also going to do some assignments this week. You have your discussion. You have a choice of watching one of the Department of Developmental Services Telling Our Stories videos. There's 4 choices. You'll watch one of them and glean kind of what aspects were really beneficial from the family, from the service provider. You're going to do your watch-in work, and that's really looking at how and why we meet with parents around parent-teacher conferences. And even though it is a parent-teacher conference, there are many elements that can be generalized to other fields of working with families. And then, of course, you're finishing up your Part 2 Ecological Systems for Marginalized Populations, Understanding and Advocacy. This is due December 13th, Saturday, December 13th by 11:59 p.m. I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to reiterate it. I'm not going to be accepting anything at all after December 18th at 11:59 p.m. So now is a good time to check in and make sure you have everything completed and everything you want to get to me. With that, let's go ahead and jump into our last lecture and then wrap you guys up for the semester. Way to go. You really did a fantastic job. As always, I'm here if you need any support. Make sure you reach out. See you in the lecture.